everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be using this adorable donut stamp that I purchased from Hobby Lobby, and it says "You're like extra sprinkles." I think that this is a super cute stamp and I'm looking forward to using it for this card. Then I'm going to be using this Hampton Art Pigment ink pad. Now if you were going to be using alcohol markers or something like that, you would want to go with Memento ink, which is a dye-based ink, so it's not going to smudge. Where if you use this ink pad that has pigment ink in it, it's going to be smudging with alcohol markers. But I'm going to be using the Crayola colored pencils, and just the regular pencils that you can get in a 12 or 24 pack. Actually, this is the 24 pack. You can see I swatched out the colors so you can kind of see what they're going to look like. And I'm choosing the pinks. I'm going to be using like a pink and the magenta, I think, are the two colors I'm going to be using, and then also some of the browns for the actual donut. And then for sprinkles, you could of course use any of those other colors. And then I also will be using some gel pens. For the most part, all I'm going to be using is a shimmery reddish pink gel pen. Then I also used a little bit of Anita's acrylic paint, white acrylic paint, but you could of course use a Posca paint pen or a white gel pen. And then for the paper, you can use regular cardstock, or you could use whatever you want basically. I'm just going to be using some paper we had around the house that's thick, and then you also will want some glue. And this is the pad of paper I'm working out of for the background fabric for the background paper, and I ended up using the polka dot pink. So now we're going to ink up our stamp, putting our ink pad down onto the rubber of our stamp, not vice versa. You want to be putting always the ink onto the rubber stamp, not the stamp pushing down onto the ink pad. That way you can keep your stamp cleaner longer. And at this point, just ink it up well and then press it down on your page firmly for a few seconds. And then you can always, don't be afraid to let the stamp set there for a few seconds on your paper before lifting it up. And you can see here when I lift it up, I didn't actually ink up the words on this stamp because I just wanted the donut. And you can see how it didn't transfer great in that center section, but that's okay. I can always go back in with the brown colored pencils and color that bit in. So here what I'm doing is I'm using that lightest color of pink that comes in the Crayola 24 piece pencil set, and I'm kind of going to be working around both the edges of the frosting, the outer edge and the inner edge, and I'm going to be doing a medium to firm pressure on here with that. And then once I get towards the center of the frosting section, the middle area, I'm going to be leaving that white, and then at the very end just gently going over it with the pencil, but really just very gently. So basically it'll be a big white shiny reflection along the inside of the donut, or along the top of the donut. You can see to the left side of the camera on the page that you can see when I swatched out the pink how dark you can get it by pushing really hard, and then how light you can also get it by doing a medium pressure. So right here I'm doing the medium to light, and then later on I'll be going a little bit darker around the edges with this pencil by applying more pressure. I think that leaving that area where it's a white sort of shine on the top really gives it a more three-dimensional look. So at this point, you can see I colored that already. I'm doing darker around the edges and then lighter towards the center. So now I'm going to be covering in that brown area with some brown pencils, trying to make it match the color of the ink. So I went in with a lighter color of brown, but now I'm going in with the darker color of brown, trying to make it look a little bit better. So at this point, I'm going to be adding some sprinkles. So you can do whatever colors you want for the sprinkles. You could even make all the sprinkles the same color if you wanted to, but I'm going to be going in and adding some sprinkles with random colors from the Crayola set. Now, if you don't want to, you don't have to do this step, because I ended up just adding a little dab of that Elmer's glue on each of the sprinkles, spreading it out a little bit with a toothpick, and applying glitter later to these because I wanted glitter instead of these colors. But if you do like colored, cute sprinkles, then you could also do this step. So at this point, I'm going to be using that darker magenta pink color to darken the inner area of the donut and then darken the very outer area of the donut. And that helps the donut look more 3D again, because it makes the edges look like they're going down and they're in more of a shadow, and then it makes the center look like it's closer to the surface that the donut is setting on also. It makes it look very nice in 3D. So at this point, I'm going in with my gel pen. This is kind of a reddish pink, like I said before, and it does have some shimmer in it, so I really liked that little bit of sparkle it gave. But I'm going around the edges of the frosting and the edges of the donut, and I think it gave a really nice definition, and I really liked the look it gave in the end. You can kind of see the color it is there when I put it on the white paper, and I think this worked really well. You could obviously skip this step, but I found that it really helped all the features of the donut pop and look a lot richer. So here now I'm adding little dabs of Elmer's glue onto the sprinkles, and then like I said before, I spread that glue out a little bit using a toothpick on each of those sprinkles so that they're not just dots, and then I'm sprinkling over a generous amount of this fine pink glitter. This glitter is super cute and sparkly, and I think it really added a good layer to this donut. So at this point, I'm kind of tapping the page, trying to make that glitter kind of bounce around and cover any of the exposed glue. And then it's okay if you pour out too much glitter, because you can just tip that glitter onto another piece of paper and then put it back in the container, or even using the same piece of paper, use that as a sort of funnel and put that back into the tube of glitter. So at this point, I cut it out, the donut image I cut out, and I put onto that piece of pink polka dot fabric. I wanted to say fabric again, onto that piece of scrapbook paper. So at this point, I thought it'd be kind of fun to stamp that image of a donut coming off the edges of the card in different areas. And I actually found that I really loved this look, so I'm really happy that I ended up doing this. Now, of course, again, if you were using alcohol markers to color in this image. You wouldn't necessarily want to do this because you are going to get ghosting of the marker's ink on the back side of your card, so you may want to do fussy cutting and adhere these images onto the bits of your card that way, so you don't get the transfer of color through your card. But for me, because I'm using colored pencils, this worked quite well. Now again, what I'm trying to just do is make sure that the words aren't going to be stamped on the page. I'm trying to make sure that that section of the stamp would be over the edge, so that I could get cute donuts, but I wouldn't have half-written words on the page. And of course you could leave it like this, but me being me, I wanted to color this in with my pink colored pencils as well. And here I am doing the time-lapse coloring for you guys, so you can kind of see the steps a little bit more in this time-lapse version. And you can see how I'm going around leaving that center section lighter and then going in with my gel pen outlining. And of course you wouldn't need to do all these steps if you didn't want to. You could just color in the frosting one color, but I found that this really gave it more dimension and depth. But you could also do the frosting in any color you wanted. I just chose pink because I thought it would be really cute and I liked that idea, but of course you could do whatever you wanted. Now for the sprinkles on these donuts inside the card, I decided to just use the gel pen that I was using to outline everything, because I didn't want that texture of possibly thickness of the glitter to be on the inside of the card. So at this point, I'm kind of roughly outlining drops of icing or something like that would be along the top edge of my card with a lighter pencil, and then I'm filling it in with that pink color but pressing a little bit more, and then using that darker magenta color to fill in the rest of it. And you can see those areas where the icing looks like there's a little bit of shine on it. I went in with my white acrylic paint at that point and I colored that in with that. But here's the end card and I think it's super cute. I hope that you like it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.